Bob's residence. Oh, hi, Sheriff.
No, he ain't done nothing wrong. He's just got a right peculiar request.
I guess that would be all right. No, no trouble at all. Don't worry about it. Yes, I'll be seeing you.
Who was that?
The sheriff.
Yeah?
Sherman's down at the station. He wanted to see the pictures of Bill after he hanged himself.
He's got his nerve. You didn't let him, did you?
I didn't see the harm if it meant so much to him.
It makes me mad. Sometimes I'd just like to throw him out of the house.
Go ahead and do it. I don't mind.
No, he's our guest now.
It's probably best just to see it out. Harvey, shut the refrigerator.
I'm sorry, dear.
Sheriff, you notice anything strange about that photograph?
No.
What about the noose there?
Well, there's a man hanging from it.
Could I take a quick look at the autopsy report, please?
Well, there wasn't much of an autopsy. We knew what killed him.
A man kills himself, commits suicide, and there's no autopsy report done? What the hell?
Sheriff? Hi, Mike. How about yourself?
What's going on here? Is that your standard operating procedure in a small town?
It was a clear case of suicide. Everybody involved handled the case in a highly respectable manner.
Respect is for other people, Sheriff. It's not for you, and it's not for me. Could I just look at the autopsy report, please?
First of all, Mr. Sherman, I don't see that you and me have anything in common. Second thing, you better be careful. I only let you see the pictures because you're a friend of Will's and because Maggie said it would be all right. But I can't let you go pawing through my files.
I think this case should be reopened.
Why? There's no indication of foul play, no evidence to indicate foul play. You've been gone too long. This is America. You need evidence.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
Do you notice anything strange about the rope on his neck?
Not in particular, Sheriff.
Me neither. I wonder what put that firecracker up his ass.
Bill, you told me the South was where your sins don't go anywhere. I can remember some other things you told me, too.
Biscuits, 564 gross. Beef, 378 quarters. Correction. I just came from Maggie.
Oh, no, now, don't you start in on me, too.
This can't go on.
It won't. I'll get it under control.
Bill!
I said I'd take care of it.
I can't bear to look at her. Come in.
Hello, Harvey. I thought I might find you here. Which is that you had in front of you?
Vicksburg.
Siege, wasn't it?
Eventually.
I saw something very strange down at the sheriff's office today.
Oh,
The news Bill tied?
the news?
Yeah, the one he tied to hang himself.
Look, I'm sorry I'm tired. I really don't have time to
Just give me 1 minute.
Reconstruction, a
Very
murder
strange.
mystery, a love triangle, and joining me on the show today is Jim McDermott, if you've just tuned in. Jim, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because we saw some of these in the clip, you used a lot of flashback to set up the plot and to tell the story. What got you into doing all the flashback material?
I think it was the order in which you got, it was important in the way you got to know Harvey, who is the murderer. But it's first as you meet him, he seems completely like a milquetoast. Casper Milquetoast could almost be his name. And to find that he's capable of committing a murder, and then to find out his reasons as you go deeper.
Right.
I really wanted that information to come out in a very specific order, and that's why I had to use flashbacks, and also to keep the whole thing compressed in a very short period of time.
Well, in the last clip, we're going to sort of blow the lid off as to why he killed Bill. But working your way up to that point, did you find it difficult to work with flashbacks, trying to keep the order together and, you know, sort of tell the story in that way?
For some reason, I've always felt comfortable with flashbacks. Earlier films of mine have used them. And in the future, I'm going to try to not rely on them so much, actually. But no, I really feel very comfortable using flashbacks. And I'm kind of excited by bopping around a little bit like that.
What was the hardest thing you ran across putting this film together?
For me, the hardest thing, I think, was getting the type of intensity I would have liked from the actors in such a short period of time. And this is definitely, I think, a problem in that this was my first film with a large crew. There were people running around, and I was, you know, had to take care of a lot of things before. It's me and 3 guys out shooting, something like that. And we would spread it out over a long period of time. So in 15 days, trying to keep the actors at the intensity I wanted, that was the hardest part of it, and I learned a lot and think it'll be more successful in the future, really keeping them right where I would like them to be.
Right. There's one thing that I have to compliment you on, because as anyone knows, I'm a stickler in continuity. Your continuity was flawless, except for one part. Okay. Harvey picks up the phone to call the sheriff and dials 9 numbers.
He was nervous, and we missed it in the editing room.
Yeah, because I brought it up to our producer, Nick. I says, now, I ran it back. I says, here, we're sitting in the editing suite. I said, watch this. I want you to look at this. And he says, oh, my God, that's 9 numbers. So that was just something that for some reason, when people dial, I count the dialing. You know, I'm a very fastidious person. My wife doesn't like to watch movies with me because I ruin it for her. But getting back to shooting on location, how much was there more pre-preparation involved with shooting a film on location than, say, if you were to do it here in Chicago?
Well, yes, I had to go down there several times ahead of time, but it was very easy to work with the people in Memphis and in Whitehaven, the suburb in which it was. So I think it was more I guess it was, and it had to travel down there, had to get someone to work with down there when I wasn't there. But it didn't turn into a big difficulty or hold the film back very much, I don't think.
Now, one thing that I wanted to ask you, now you obviously had to do a lot of production, pre-production things. For instance, you had to have the black and whites of the rope around the neck thing done. So that, Now that was all. Were you doing that as the film was being made, or were you doing that beforehand and then working it in, or?
We were basically doing it as it was going on. And I think that's a tribute to Kimberly Lyle, the production designer from Chicago, who did a very good job keeping up with all the elements we needed at different times. Fantastic.
Well, earlier on in this segment, I alluded to the fact that we're going to blow the lid off of why Harvey killed Bill. So here it comes in the last segment from a brilliant film called Reconstruction by Jim here, who's going to be back with me, and we'll finish out the show a little bit later, so don't go away.